Hi everyone, Jordan Ray here with another Google App scripting video. Though this time it's going to have a little bit less of an ed tech kind of purpose. I was recently kind of working on rebuilding my own personal website, and I decided I wanted to put a contact form on there. But to have a contact form, you got to have some sort of back end that can handle, processing that email for you. The HTML alone won't just do it. So I thought, what a good way to use Google Apps Script. See if we can build, that mail service for us. So I went ahead and did that and turned it into a video. I threw together a little contact form here with Bootstrap. It's a real simple HTML and a little jQuery to make it so that you can have, a drop down for the subject, and you can even choose other, and then create your own subject line, and all that'll come into play in a minute as we start building out, our Google Apps Script to handle the processing of this. When you click submit, it's got the kind of the required fields on there, just a little front end validation. I'm going to fill this out. gtrainerdemo.jordanray.com, subject other, and this is going to be CodePen is fun. And this, whoa, can't type. This is a text message. And then when I click submit, right now it's just alerting me that I got to get a URL to send this data to handle it and send the email. So let's build that out right now. What we're going to actually do is use the do post trigger. As you can see, I just have a blank script here. Let's start from there. Just a blank script, and we're going to use that do post trigger, and we're going to take in the event parameter. And the first thing we need to do is actually parse out the parameter into a JSON object. And we're going to take the e.postData and .contents. Everything that's in our form is going to be sent into the contents. I'm going to post a link to this CodePen. So if you want to see the code, how I'm sending it with jQuery, very simple, a little bit of jQuery JavaScript stuff. So you can take a look at that code later, but that's not the purpose of this video. So what we're going to do is then in this function, let's go to the end first and let's figure out what we're returning. We're going to return content service, create text output, and we're going to put a string in there, and it's going to be json.stringify response. And then we want to set the MIME type, and we're going to make that the content service.mimetype.json. And that should be all we need. Make this a little bit smaller so we can fit everything onto one line. I can actually space this stuff down. There we go. So I'm returning this response, and we're going to stringify that, so kind of serialize it so that it can be, sent over the cross origin. There's a little thing called cores that will end up causing you problems if you don't kind of pay attention to what format your data is in, your variables are in. Now, the response variable, we need to actually create that. And we're going to actually create our own function called sendMail. And in that, we're going to send an object full of the JSON data that we parse out right above it. We want a couple of things for an email. We want the name, and we're going to say json.name. We want an email address, json.email. We want a subject line, json.subject, and body, json.body. Now, all of these little parameters, are the names that I gave to these fields in our Bootstrap form here. So that's where these keys are coming from. And we need to actually create this send mail function, send mail, and it's going to take in that data that we're sending it. Basically, this variable is coming from this object, and this is where we're going to create our we're actually going to send ourselves an email. And to do that, we're going to do a try and a catch error. And the purpose of this is if there are any errors with the sending for whatever reason, maybe somebody types in their email wrong or any sort of error happens, we want to return that error, and I've got an alert box that will show up here to notify the user. But you'll see how I handle that as we go through this here. So the first thing I want to do is create an HTML variable, and I'm going to call the HTML service, and we're going to create a template from file, and I'm just going to call it email. Now the reason for this is because I want to actually style my email, give it all the information that it needs. So I need to create an HTML, and this is going to be the email that gets sent. We're going to come back to that in a minute. So let me go ahead and put some variables on that template. I'm going to give it a name variable. It's data.name. We're going to say HTML dot. All of these are spaced wrong, aren't they? Okay, HTML dot email is data.email. HTML dot subject equals data.subject. HTML dot body equals data.body. Now all of those are on the template now, so we'll be able to use them over here. And I'll show you how I'm going to style that in just a few moments. But then we actually need to call this Gmail app, and we're going to call the method send email, and that takes in a couple of, and let's look at the autocomplete so we can see exactly what we're doing here. Send email takes in a bunch of different things, recipient, subject, body, and options. We don't have to include the options, but we are going to. We're going to do that because we have a couple of things that we want to change. So the recipient is easy. That's going to be me. RayJT at what did I call it? gtrainerdemo.jordanray.com. The subject, I'm going to make that data.subject, and then I'm going to add a little bit onto the string. I'm just going to call it contact form. Now the reason I'm doing that is so that I can filter in my email box. That's subject for another video, but I like to put those little tags in my Gmail so that I can sort everything. And then the body is going to be, I'm just going to make this an empty string because the body is actually going to become everything that's in this HTML here. And then the options is going to be a simple little object here. And let's go ahead and space that out a little bit. I don't know why. Why is the formatting so weird there? Okay. Strange. Okay. And in this object, I'm going to give it the name contact form. That just shows up on the email. Oh, that's weird. Weird formatting here. Did I miss a space? Very interesting. Okay, well, I'll sort that out later. Strange formatting. Okay, I want the reply to. Sorry, getting confused with the way that Google Apps Script is auto-indenting here. Okay, anyways, we're not going to worry about that right now. The spacing might be frustrating, but we're gonna plug on through. All right, reply to. So this, I wanted to actually be able to reply to the email to the email, to the person who filled out the form, right? So when it shows up in my email box, I can just click on reply to and go right to that person. And then the last thing, I want HTML body, and that's going to become the HTML variable that I declared above. I want to evaluate the template, and then I want to get content, because that returns it as one long string, and we got to return it as a string here. So I'm going to try to format this so that it's legible. It's so frustrating to me when things are not spaced and indented properly, but anyways, that should be good there. All right, then I want to actually return something to my I want to return something into this response variable that then will get sent back to the user, because we want to be able to say, hey, email was sent, you can go on with your life now. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to give it a code, and I'm just going to call it success, and that's going to correlate to one of the Bootstrap features. If you look in my HTML, you'll see how I'm using that Bootstrap class. So success, and then message, and that's going to just be thanks for contacting me. I can't wait. Oops, gotta escape that apostrophe. I can't wait to talk about ed tech with you. Great. All right, so simple little message there. And I just realized that's not spaced properly either. Okay, and then in the catch, I'm going to return an object. A couple different things here. I want to give it the code danger. Again, that just corresponds to a Bootstrap class. And a message, something went wrong. Technology is not always pretty. Let's go with that message. I think I'm overusing exclamation points, but that's, yeah, definitely overusing exclamation points. But, you know, we're not worried about that. Those are, it's just how it's going to be. So let me save everything here. And I'm missing a, because I put that semicolon in there. Don't want that. All right, save everything there. And now let's build out this HTML. Very simple HTML. I'm going to speed through this and then show you what I have at the end. So just hang tight. I'm going to fast forward. Okay, so I've got everything coded out here. Just a simple header 3 tag telling me who is contacting me, then a p tag telling me when they're contacting me, putting the subject in a p tag, and then the body. Real simple HTML. You could obviously style this up a number of different ways, but that's up to you. Now, I should have everything in place for what I need here. I am taking in that E parameter. I am sending the email using the data from that E parameter, and then I'm returning a simple little response to the user with either a success or an error. And in this CodePen, that should handle all of that. So what I have to do to make this work is actually publish it as a web app. Now, I'm going to deploy it as a web app. Just call it, I don't know, initial deploy. And then execute the app as myself. And who has access to the app? Anyone, even anonymous, because we're going to put this on our website. So we want anybody to be able to kind of make a post request to this app. And then we're going to click on deploy. It's going to review permissions. Let's see here. Everything should show up. Yep, my trainer account. And it's asking if I can send emails to myself. And yeah, I can. So I'm going to click on OK, and I forgot to copy the URL. So I need this URL. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and we're going to put that into our code pen. Now, if you want to use my code, you can. Just go ahead and fork it, and then put in your own URL, the URL that you create, or just type up your own HTML form. You see it's just some bootstrap here, and I think almost no CSS just about. And in the JavaScript, you're going to find the post URL variable that I have, and just go ahead and pop in the string and save it. Now, you should be able to fill this form out. And I'm RayJT at gtrainerdemo.jordanray.com. I'm going to take the subject. I'm not going to use one of my preset subjects. I'm going to go ahead and go to Other, and I'm going to type in YouTube tutorial. Exclamation points, since that's kind of the theme here. I'm overusing exclamation points. The message, exclamation points are fun. And when I hit submit, I get a little progress bar, and I should get a green. Thanks for contacting me. I can't wait to talk about EdTech with you. Great, that's the same message that I filled out. So everything seems to have worked. If I go to my Gmail, well, I can just go to the apps here. And Gmail. I don't really use my email on this trainer demo account, so let's see here. Hey, there's my email. YouTube, you are being contacted from your website by Jordan at this. It's got a time, and then it's got subject and exclamation points are fun. So everything worked. Great. Now, there's a number of things that you should probably do to improve this, like validating the post data that comes in, making sure things aren't empty. And if they are empty, you want to be able to send back some sort of code that says, hey, you didn't put your name in there, you didn't put an email address in there. Maybe you want to filter out emails, validate that email addresses are correct. I put some very simple HTML validation on there. Like the fields are required, but that's easy to kind of get around for people. But it's a pretty good little basic version of this. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give me a like, put some comments below. Tell me how I can improve this. What ideas do you have for a contact form? And let's talk about building things. So, as always, have a great one.